Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Carling Currie Cup. This one, the Sharks taking on the Boland Kavaliers, who have been absolutely phenomenal throughout this season already. They will be looking for another win away from home, but this is going to be a tough game. The Sharks, we are waiting for them to have their big opportunity. We are also going to be giving updates on the Scotland versus Fiji Women's World Cup game, currently sitting 17 points to 10. The Fijians, they are being competitive in that contest, which is phenomenal to see. Just having their last kick. Charge down, welcome back. Hamish says, Mohadin, welcome back to yourself as well. Looking through at the starting lineups for these two sides. I don't actually have the pop-ups for this match, but we will read through them. It is going to be Ganyane in the number 1 jersey alongside Marais as well as Mandanda as the other man in the front row of this contest. Kutsia LaRue alongside Slabert in the locking duo. Then Maviseri as the number 6. Putzgeiter number 7, and then Nick Haddon slots in as the number 8. Everson alongside John Smith will be that 9 and 10 combination. Christy Hrobela finds himself in the number 11 jersey. Albi Besta, Diego Apollos, and then Sabali in there as well for the number 14. Kunini gets the chance at fullback here, but I do think for the Sharks side have something that we're waiting to see, and we are still, you know, it can't be a mile away. It's got to be very soon that we do see them start to get it right. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see how it goes in this matchup. Looking through at the starting lineup for this Boland side, it will be Losper in the front row alongside Tobias and Van der Vesthuizen and Benardi and Van Vuren in the locking duo. And then from there, one moment, I am just quickly finding where the Carling Currie Cup game is on. There it is. I thought for a second they weren't actually showing it here in New Zealand, and I had a bit of a panic moment, but Sangweni there in the number 6 jersey alongside Aronsa and Marsh in the loose forward trio, and Moster, Schroeder, Xavier Mitchell, Ngale in the midfield alongside Lumbrecht, and then Donovan Don and James Tedder also there as the number 15. I will mention that while this game is taking place, like I said, we are going to be giving updates of what is happening in that other contest that is happening between Scotland and Fiji. At the moment, it has been eventful, but Scotland have just scored the try in that matchup. They get themselves the bonus point there. So they'll be very happy about that. But Thurlow Marshy will be the captain of the Boland Kavaliers. McGee gets her hat-trick and her 5th of the Rugby World Cup with that one crossing the try line. But coming out of the tunnel, the Sharks, they are getting a bit of a cheer from the crowd, but they are still waiting for that big game from the Sharks team. They have been up and down all throughout the season. They aren't in the last place position as they were able to get themselves the win last week up against the Western Province. So perhaps they can back it up with another big performance here. Fiji might get a card for the head high. Says Suds Race. I actually think at the time that we ended, ever since then it's been all Scotland. So we might have ended at the peak of this Fijian side in that game, which is kind of, I think I'm just making excuses, but I really hope that, you know, there's still going to be a lot of entertainment in that game, but I hope it doesn't become that big upset that it could be. And Scotland vs Fiji says Jay, and Hi Lilia says Wild, and also Hi Lilia. Hope it gets better for your team. Then it went with mine. And I'm here, Ruth always, says Lilia. And there as well. But yeah, it is greatly appreciated you all tuning in for this matchup. It is just about to get underway. The Sharks, can they do it? Yes or no? Do let me know. And the chat as well. I was in Pile Boys High, says Anthony. And Hi Lilia says Wild Lobster there too. Head coach here, Fori, for the Boland Kavaliers. And what a season they have had. It's been absolutely incredible. Hi Sakabola. So it's your fault if Fiji lose? Honestly, yes. I will well and truly take the brunt of it for that one. As yeah, it does seem like there is a yellow card potentially coming for Fiji here. Joel Stransky, one of the commentators here. I think he will be commentating any other games that they're playing in South Africa in the near future, or at least he covers the majority of the Carling Currie Cup. No stress, Hamish, all good. Says Jay there. Hi, Wild Lobster. Says Lilia. And there as well, but the countdown is on. We are just about ready for the kickoff of this contest. The Sharks, they will be kicking off this one from left to right. And this match of the Carling Currie Cup is underway between the Sharks and the Boland Kavaliers. Looks relatively dark at the stadium for this matchup. It is a 5:10 p.m. kickoff. A different ground than we're used to seeing. I've got, of course, Kings Park in my background, but that is not where this game has taken place. Going to be rolled back now by Schroeder, who will kick this one up and look to make it contestable. Donovan Don, a player to keep an eye out for in this match. Of course, he has already got himself these 7 tries throughout the Carling Currie Cup competition, and the early penalty does go the way of the Sharks. They have to make the most of any chance given here, because throughout their other games, they haven't had a huge amount of them. You know, they will make little mistakes, frustrating mistakes for their fans and for the coaching staff. And this one going to be kicked towards the corner, about maybe 40 metres out from the line here. It slipped up, penalty only, no card. Betcha to give her a yellow, says Studs Race. If it's anything like the one we saw earlier on, I don't actually think that earlier one was a yellow for the Fijiana side, but they are still reviewing this one. Have you been to the inter-schools? I have not, no. And hi, Hamish Craig from St. Francis Bay. And South Africa, love you, says Craig, and it is greatly appreciated you being here for this match. Now looking for the rolling maul here. Mavasiri going back across to the left-hand side. Nicely played by Everson, I should say. Now another big run forward from Mandanda. TMO still checking that one for the Scotland versus Fiji, and the TMO might check that one. It's a deliberate knockdown. It might have actually broken one of his fingers here for Louis Schroeder. He looks like he's in a lot of discomfort, trying to find a way to screw over Fiji. Says Studs Race there. Yeah, this TMO has taken about 3 minutes. In fact, that TMO started when we started this live stream almost. That was about 3.5, or maybe a bit longer ago. Let's get a Sharky, says Blues Nate. Are they saying it will just be a penalty? Yeah, that ball almost got thrown into his hand there, and he looks like he's in a lot of pain. But Schroeder, of course, one of the main things that you need for passing is your fingers if you're in that halfback role. Uh-oh. Number 9 is the comment from the ref. I think he's going to the bin. You were the last defender. He gets the yellow card 2 minutes into the game. He's going, mate, my fingers bloody hurt. You know, they passed the ball into my hand, not the other way around. We have got there. She went down to his shoulder, says Doc. And Fiji have to have some luck, and thanks to Leah, says Sakabula. And therefore, where they are playing, so Woodburn Stadium and Pietermaritzburg. Now rolling maul here for the Sharks with the advantage in hand. Or at least the advantage on the field. Let's find an incriminating angle. Here's one from a satellite above Botswana, says Suds Race. Yeah, they're still looking at it. They've been looking at it for 5 minutes. That game has lost all its momentums since we went away from it. But now rolling maul still going for the Sharks. It's kind of doing a little bit of a left to right kind of wiggle like it is a snake. Now Everson, ball is there again, 5 metres out from the line. They are going to give a yellow card to Fijiana. Cross kick there, not quite taken cleanly. In fact, now grabbed by the Sharks as there was no knock on. Donovan Don asking for the penalty. His teammate gets in there, gets the steal. And they'll go back now for an original penalty on the far side of the field for the Sharks. But yeah, Tawake getting yellow carded in that Fiji versus Scotland game, so that is really going to hurt the Fijian chances. Is there construction going on at Kings Park? Or is this a bring rugby to the people thing? That's a great question. It could be both, to be honest. And I do like when sides do a little bit of travelling in terms of their region and giving different locations the opportunity to experience the games. Hamish, I was busy outside last week and eventually heard the cheer from the stadium and wondered a bit about what you guys were chatting about, says Cool Story. But yeah, the Sharks, the thing is, right, the way that the table sits, if the Western Province can somehow beat the Pumas, which at the moment seems like an impossible task for this Western Province side with the way that they have started, but theoretically, if the Sharks won this game with a bonus point, 11 points on the board, they would move into 6th. No, never mind. Who's doing the maths? Actually, they could theoretically squeeze in, but it would take 2 massive bonus point victories from here. In fact, no, never mind. I'll just stop talking because I've just realised the maths is wrong and they can't actually qualify. But this is close to the line for the Sharks. They at least will want to finish on a high. Then another penalty, double blow the whistle. Boland might find themselves in trouble again. High, 117 days to Christmas, everyone says, Carlin. That would mean, what's the maths on that? That would be less than 100 days till my birthday. Which also means it's about 100 days till the Sevens gets back underway. I think. No, in fact, it will be sooner than that. But yeah, I can tell that you are very excited for Christmas, Carlin. It's a bring the rugby to the people thing. says Lilia B. And it does look like a decent turnout for this game at Peter Maritzburg, which is fantastic to see. Currently 5 minutes into this contest. It's going to be another chance here for the Sharks. 117 to my birthday. Is your birthday Christmas, Wild Lobster? As if it is, that is impressive. And tell us your birthday date, please. It is the 2nd of December. So I am an early December baby. Oh, that one's going to be nicely taken by the Sharks on the short side. Quick hand, Subale scores it for the Sharks. And that is the start to the match that they would have been after. A little bit of a fist bump I think we might have just seen from the coaching box. Finally, the Sharks have managed to get themselves on the board. Not just for this game in general, you know, like last week, their game up against the Western Province, they did end up playing. And in the early stages, I think it took them 29 minutes for Sabale to score. They're actually just checking to see whether or not his foot was in touch. They might have found something here. And another great try from Scotland. Fiji starting to show some fatigue. Says Studs Rays, yeah, I think we got out of that game at just the right time. Like 7 minutes of TMO checking stuff was pretty rough. Right, Sabale, did he slap his foot on the line? Oh boy, he might be out there. There might be some brilliant defence from Boland. And closer you are born to Xmas, the closer you are to being... Oh, he's in touch. That one, I believe, is out. And I think that Xavier Mitchell has done just enough here to stop this Boland try. Right, they're finding another angle just to check it. Hopefully it doesn't take too long to see it. It is Subale who was going for it. And then... Yep, that foot is in touch. This is going to be no try for the Sharks. I take back everything that I just said about scoring early for the Sharks team because unfortunately they have not yet. I want to say they were under penalty advantage, but they might not have been here. And even Hamish, thanks for the commentary, my friend, says, just no worries at all. It is great to see you for this live screen. 29 points to 10, the score between Scotland and Fiji now. So the bonus point well and truly secure for the Scots. The face palms there from Lilia. Yeah, it wasn't ideal. But 5 metres out from the line here. It is going to be the Boland line out. Now, we've seen them struggle at the start of a game before and come back and win it. So... I don't think Boland will be too nervous as of yet. Very good attack and run from Nailolo, I just saw. On the other split view, go Boland, keep them out. Says I lollipop, throwing that one to the back and well taken by Dylan Mart. Now back into the pocket. Looking to clear the lines. I should mention no Ashlon Davids in the starting lineup for this game. Instead it is Juan Mostert. Now going back across to the left-hand side, the Sharks deciding to take it quickly. Kunini showing off his quick step and feet. Now tackled there. Haddon gets back up to his feet. Has another crack. He has been a handy enough player for the Sharks this year. Also handy enough with a cricket bat. Going off to the left-hand side. Now looping around. So Bale wanted to pass it, but their handling snuck in there. And it does mean, again, Sharks maybe not quite as clinical as they would have liked to be. Boland all the way, says Bruce. And you could sing that in the jingle, in the style of Jingle Bells, and it would make Carlin very happy. 2nd of December, Hamish, adding to my birthday calendar. Says Carlin. You see, my birthday calendar, I am not the best at remembering birthdays, so I should probably have a birthday calendar. But luckily for the 4 Kiwi lads, it's nice and easy. Because pretty much I'm on the 2nd of December, one of the others is on the 22nd of December, then one of them is on the 22nd of March, and then one of them is the 29th of March. So it's pretty much all 2s, and then you just go a week later in March. So that's been the easiest way to remember it. We have good there. I've been watching as many rugby podcasts from New Zealand as I can from South Africa. It seems like both sets of teams and coaching staff are under pressure from supporters. The rivalry lives on. Yeah, there's a huge amount of pressure on both sides. And I do think that the players, they'll be feeling it. I'm Christmas obsessed, y'all, says Carlin. And Hamish, it's yours before Xmas, says Ruth. Yeah, so it's less than 100 days away. I think I'll be 26. I kind of forget sometimes. But I think I will be 26. I think I turned 25 last year. Maybe. We'll go with that. But Scotland are just stronger. Says Big Rig. Yeah, Fiji have really tried hard in that game. To their credit. Boland, though, the good scrum. Now told to use it at the back here. Now, of course, it is not the usual 9. It is Donovan Don playing as the 9 while the yellow card still does end up finishing. Thought only old people forget their age. Yeah, I don't know. As soon as I got over the age of 20, I just ended up with the mindset of I'm in my 20s rather than I'm this old. But I think I am 25 now. Oh, nice little kick in behind there for the Sharks. Close to the sideline, though, and it will go out. But a very good attack and run from Christy Robala, showing a little bit of that blitz box kind of pace. Hamish doesn't remember his age. Still not beating the vampire allegations. You see, vampires are very old, aren't they? 150 days until mine. I'm happily 45. Says Carlin there. And also doing okay with 14 players. Yeah, both of these games actually have one side with 14 at the moment. I stopped counting my birthdays at 24. It's a famous song lyric. Is it actually? Because that was probably about when I started forgetting mine rather than counting them. Actually, I've met 1 or 2 people from Natal. They were not too bad. I have a birthday calendar of note, says Craig. Looks like Fiji very close to scoring here. A bit of an injury for Nick Haddon as well, so he is just getting that strapped up around kind of the top of the ankle by the looks of it. We'll go there. Try, says Blues, Nate. And New Zealand Prefs has been pretty hard on the All Blacks, and same with the Box, so both teams are going to the test under huge pressure. And it is a shame, because the thing is, right, sadly, in today's day and age, negativity sells. Fiji just scored, by the way. It is a Nakoti to get the try. Boland have kicked that ball downfield. But, you know, if both sides said something along the lines of both teams excited to play at Eden Park, no one would click on it, sadly, because people love the controversy. Whereas if they say Scott Robertson sacked after Eden Park lost, everyone goes, yeah, get that going. So it's a shame because, you know, the positivity gets nowhere. The negativity gets clicks. But now on the outside, Boland, little chip in behind from Xavier Mitchell. Subali dropping the ball again. The Sharks fullback dropping the ball too. They're going to go back for a knock on though. Oh, they're checking that Fijian try. No surprises there. You're the same age as my aunt's youngest daughter. Says cool story. And check. And I am with Big Rig Joe. Stop having a birthday at age 24. No. TMO, go away. TMO, I don't like the TMO, says Nov Mum. And this is an awesome game, says Studs Race. Talking the Fiji one or the Currie Cup game? I assume you're talking Fiji-Scotland. It's been phenomenal so far from the two teams. Probably the best game of the tournament, I would argue. And later, Scotland versus Fiji score at the moment, 29-15. Fiji just scored their 3rd try, but they are TMOing it, so more than likely it will get ruled out. Currently 10.5 minutes through. Donovan Don, he's been playing as the 9 in this contest due to the early yellow card of Schroeder. But currently a little bit of a team huddle here due to the injury, although it looks like everyone's all right to be able to continue in this match. And we are now going to have a scrum in favour of the Sharks. Roof, I want to take you on a date somewhere you have never been before. It's called the Kitchen, says Kevin. I'm confused, Kevin. Is that supposed to be like a good pickup line? Like you're saying that she's... I don't understand how that can be considered as anything but bad for a pickup line. And nobody likes you when you're 23, Bloodhound Gang. And if this is a penalty, I'm going to throw my TV out the window, says Studs Ray. And yet they disallowed it. They took it away from the Fijians. But now, chance here for the Sharks, sitting 40 metres out from the line. Negativity sells. That's why that channel that just whines about World Rugby every time a Southern Hemisphere team loses is so popular, says Big Rig Joe. See, I think I know what channel you're saying, but I actually may not as well. But then you probably don't want to put it. And gotta go have burgers to grill. So good luck with the burgers. Do not burn them. It's my bit of advice. They were very harsh on Fozzie. Absolutely. Ian Foster wasn't, this is the thing. We can look back at Ian Foster's era now and go, he actually didn't do that badly. Yes, there were a couple rough records along the way, but he made it to a World Cup final. But the thing about that is, as soon as people go, oh yeah, but it was the players, who made it to that World Cup final. There's actually a red card here for Tawake now, so she is going to be off the field for the rest of this game, so it's been upgraded from that collision that some felt wasn't even going to be a yellow. You know, that's pretty harsh. They're just trying to find a way to make Fiji lose in that game by the looks of it. We're currently 12 minutes through in this contest. Everson will be joined now by Schroeder. Will make his way back out onto the field. Marion has said hello, Hamish. Welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. You're allowed to clear players out, says Studs Race. Yeah, I don't think there was a red. I don't even think the first one was a yellow, to be honest. Like a penalty at most. Like, yeah. It's hurt Fiji here. And I don't think they've done too much too wrong. We have there, would you consider a job as a full-time commentator? I think you'd be brilliant. Says Joss. The thing is, it's a tricky one. Because I've thought about this a little bit. About whether or not to kind of go down that venture. And it sounds weird to say, but I think I like doing the live streams on YouTube more than I would if I was actually at the games commentating them. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like you guys are the reason that these live streams are always so entertaining and so fun to do. And if I was just doing the commentary, like, yes, it would be pretty cool. But I also do think that I'd miss this too much. Does that make sense? I'm getting soft in my old age. The arriving players bound with the Scottish Jackler and cleared her out legally because you'd miss us, says Jeremy. Exactly right. Drew, but the salary is nice. I don't actually know how much commentators get paid. I haven't looked up that side of things. There is a forward pass there from Boland. So the Sharks now have themselves another feed. Just got back from Ellis Park. A tough loss for the Bulls, says Reactor Boy. But yeah, massive win for the Lions in that game. That was, once again, a crazy shift put in by them. It's fully confirmed their spot. We love this. Says Lilia B. And also, it does make sense. But at your age, a few years travelling the world and commentating, says Joss. True. But, yeah, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I'm pretty content at the moment. I agree that commentary was your calling, and we are all very fortunate. Have you given us commentary, says Kevin. Jeremy equals Bill. Decided to use my actual name. So is that Bill? What was the last name with it? I didn't actually ever read your last name, did I? Too often. Was it Whitlingham or something like that? We have got there also, there's a monkey on the telephone wire right outside here. Interesting. So it's just like chilling. Whirlingham, sorry, I did slightly mispronounce it, didn't I? First 15 Rugby, the main man. I keep up the work, brother. Unbelievable consistency. Do appreciate you popping in. I remember you were doing the Six Nations. I haven't actually popped in to see what you've been up to lately, so hopefully everything has been going well if you have been doing some sort of coverage, whether or not it's the Women's World Cup or whether it is just the international rugby taking place in July. Yeah, we'll have to try and get something lined up in the future, maybe November. Could be an option. Google says average rugby commentators earn £35,000 a year, which I think is about 80,000 New Zealand. It's quite a bit, to be fair. It's much more than I earn now. We have got there, yeah, it's chilling. You have monkeys in New Zealand? No, not really. Only in like a zoo kind of area. I remember going to Willowbank, which is in Christchurch, a little while ago. We got a big stoppage here, by the way. We were just waiting for the scrum to take place due to an injury. But I remember going to Willowbank a while ago, and they had some monkeys, and one of the monkeys picked up a stick and started smacking a turtle with it. And I've never forgotten that. That monkeys can sometimes be, pardon my French, a bit of a dick. We have got there, yeah, don't get me wrong, Scotland was winning this game every day of the week. The ref has made some real questionable calls, says Big Rig. And yeah, I do think that Fiji deserve a better scoreline than 29-10 for the way that they've played. I'll be very grumpy if I was Fiji, says Big Rig. And also, we have got there, oh, well, thanks for what you do. We get rugby commentary and get to have a good chat too, says Joss. Yeah, and it's something so unique, you know, like radio commentary is something, you know, it's very handy. It's probably, I would have to argue, it's probably better than what we do because you do get the play-by-play. But, you know, that interaction of just being able to talk with other people from around the world who love the same game that you do, like, it's just unique and something that only because of where we are technology-wise is possible. There's no try to slow down Fiji. Says Blues Nate, but now line-out throw here. And thrown in by Sydney Tobias 15 minutes into the contest. Nicely claimed by Boland back across to the left-hand side. So Schroeder's back out there on the park. That is a massive shot coming in on Arnse. We have got there. Monkeys can be really nasty. See, here's Ruth. I have baboons coming in my garden and raiding my fruit trees. Drives my dogs nuts. See, here's Sakabula. See, like, we have little birds, you know, that would come and maybe steal a worm out of the lawn, but you're having a baboon in your backyard. That's a break at the line and a half there for the Sharks. And it goes into touch. Off the hand of Boland, but they will go back for the penalty. Sometimes it makes me even surprised the random stuff that we talk about on these streams. In South Africa, there are many monkeys and loads of common grey monkeys everywhere here. Got to keep the kitchen door shut. What other animals would you risk coming into your house in South Africa? Out of curiosity. I just have to prepare if I ever do end up going. Of course, sounds like do not end up leaving the door open because or else a monkey could end up making its way in. Snakes? A few snakes in South Africa, maybe? Spiders? Spiders aren't too bad as long as you know where they are. It's when they start doing that magician act that you start to get a little bit concerned, you know, when they start teleporting and stuff. It's normally when you get that little bit more nervous. Spiders, says Lilia. Poisonous spiders as well, from what I've heard. And I got a bat infestation once, and it's about how exotic the UK gets, says Big Rig. And Fiji seem to be slowing down before the previous Scots try, struggling when they're defending their own half. Scots deserve credit here. So yeah, studs raised, but now rolling ball here for the Sharks. 17 minutes into the contest. Everson will pass it away to the left. I will ask a question as well. Ethan Hooker, of course, not playing for the Sharks here. Do we think we will see him in either of the matches up against New Zealand? Yes or no? I'm thinking no, but I would love to see him get the chance. Now Sabali, another run from him. Been busy in the early stages, almost got himself a try. Now Gunyane. Going off to the left-hand side now. We have monkeys here. It's called Koala. Says Doc, no for Lisa in terms of whether or not Ethan Hooker will get the chance. It's just intriguing that they've kept him in the environment, so perhaps it's just to try and give him some long-term experience in the training side of things. Depends on where you live. We have lots of snakes and spiders. Bush baby's too cute. Now another big steal from Boland. Sitting 30 metres out from the line. Schroeder goes away to Sydney Tobias. Now a good attack and run forward. Some pace being shown by Mostert. To the halfway line now. Sydney Tobias with the clean out. Son of Errol Tobias. Hopefully you've heard of Errol. Non-white 10 who played for the Box in the 80s. Great player, says Josh there. And now backline movement. Tobias, he did help start that one. Donovan Don on the outside. That's an awful pass from Lambrecht. I don't know what he was trying to do with that ball, but it seemed like he was trying to throw it over the head of Donovan Don. Well, Fiji just knocking on the ball in the last moment there, trying to get a try. But it will be ruled out. Another disallowed try for Fiji, says Big Rig. In St. Lucia, warthogs and hippos roam around the town freely. See, hippos are dangerous. They look so cuddly, but really they will eat you. You know, there is a reason there is a board game called Hungry Hungry Hippos. You know? And they're just showing there, Donovan Don just wanted that pass into the chest. And Boland looking sharp on attack. Yeah, this game's still 0-0, surprisingly. At this point in time, I did think we would have seen a try by now. To be fair, we saw a disallowed one for Sabali. So, you know, it's still on the cards that we will see one, hopefully in the near future. But Sabali scored in the 29th minute of the game up against the Western Province. Hippos are brutal. People don't realise how dangerous they are. That's because I've watched Madagascar, and they seem so nice on there. Gloria, she was a lovely woman. I don't know how many people will get that movie. That's a movie reference that I have seen, ladies and gents. I didn't watch any Patrick Swayze movies like I was told to throughout the week, but there is still time. Scotland team has been great on D. And also we have got there, they kill a lot of unsuspecting tourists every year. Says Big Rig. No, Lambrecht, don't pass like that to Donovan. Yeah, definitely not when Donovan Don is the leading try scorer in this competition. If you put it straight into his breadbasket, he will run and he will score. Baboons are dangerous. Says I Lollipop. But now, ball about to be put in. Now, did you see there, 64% possession for Fiji in that game up against Scotland, so They've certainly held their own. Okay, scrum reset here. Referee not too happy. Have you seen Highlander? If not, add it to your list. I have not. Is that the one with William Wallace? No, that's Braveheart. What's Highlander? I also haven't seen Braveheart, by the way. We have got Lilia B. Hi. Says Kevin. And Tobias, good player, Urul. Says Ruth there. Kevin says Lilia in there too. And more people killed by hippos than any other animal. Yeah, hippos are really brutal. And they got such a big mouth, you know. Plus, I find it interesting when you read about hippos. We actually had a live stream once where we did read about 20 hippo facts. I don't even remember what one it was. It would have been a late night one because they always go off in a random direction. But we found out that hippos can't swim. It's just that they jump off the bottom of the water. So theoretically, how high can a hippo jump? Because if it's not that high, you just need to get into deeper water and just float. But then the hippo eventually, you're just not going to win, are you? Because the hippo will get you in the end. Wait for a boat to come by, I guess. Christopher Lambert couldn't even speak English when he filmed it. It's still an amazing film. And it all would have been #1 if it was not for the legend Nas Botta. Now, Sydney Tobias line out throw here for Boland. So they sit 10 metres out from the line. And now sacked straight away by the Sharks. Was it legally? They say yes. But the ball is still there for Schroeder. Referee looked like he was about to blow his whistle. But again, Boland getting that little bit closer to the try line. Passing it across into the middle of the field. Lamprecht, that is a better pass. Going straight into the hands of the big forward. Now skip pass on the outside. Shoveled on. Xavier Mitchell knocks it on though. How big are the in-goal areas? They look huge at this ground. Scary to jump into water and see a pack of hippos chilling at the bottoms. You know, you might as well just give up at that point. Actually, the biggest killer of humans is the mosquito. Although that's an insect, not an animal, says Kevin. And hippos are quick in water. You stand no chance, says iLollipop. And hippos live in water, but also full of crocodiles. Going into water is not a good option. Rather climb a tree. Trees are good if you are close enough to a tree to climb. It's a good kick from Fiji. They have managed to... Oh, no, it was just short. Not quite the distance on it. So 29 points to 15 at the moment. Fiji still have 5 minutes to try and get themselves one more try. And we have got their conversion goes under the black dot, says Studs Race. And whatever the scoreline ends up being, Scotland vs Fiji is the closest Women's World Cup rugby game so far. I think it's been the probably most entertaining as well, to be honest. An elephant chased us. It was truly scary. Have you noticed how many of our rugby teams named after animals? There are quite a few. They are just showing that replay of Xavier Mitchell knocking that ball on as he went for the finish. I'll be annoyed about that because now that is one try both ends that sides have not been able to finish off. Hippos attack crocodiles. You see, hippos just know that they're big. You know, some animals don't really realise their size. A giraffe, for one, you know, they get a little bit confused and they fall over a little bit. Same with a horse. Sometimes horses don't realise that they're quite large animals. But, oh, that's a big scrum from the Sharks. But a hippo knows that it's big and it just uses it. It's kind of like a prop. Now, back into the pocket here, Everson. Oh no, penalty does go the way of the Sharks and they will not use this one quickly. Instead, they'll just take their time and kick this one downfield. Not normal that the score is still 0-0 after 18 minutes, says Joss. Yeah. Although, to be fair, the game between Western Province and the Sharks last week, first try came in the 20th minute. So hopefully we're right on the verge of that next one. First try for the Sharks was in the 29th from Sabale. Penalties conceded so far, 6 against Boland. So their defence is hurting a little bit. Or their discipline, I should say. Crocodile has no prayer against a hippo. Says Kevin. My friend's dog was bitten 3 times by Black Mamba and died in 30 minutes. Says Ruth there. And King of the Snakes is the King Cobra, says Kevin. And Boland will come back in the second half. To be fair, like Boland are never out of a game. We've seen that time and time again throughout this season. They have got themselves in a very good position. If they win this game, they would move on. That's another knock on from the Sharks. And Boland now managing to get that ball back under control, going away to the right-hand side. Big contact. Coming in on, I want to say that it was James Tedder. I believe. He was actually missing from one of the recent Boland games, but the penalty goes the way of the Sharks now. Hamish must watch Gods Must Be Crazy. Okay, I've never heard of it, to be honest. Hippo's no match for Orcas, mate, says Doc. But now kicking this one downfield. Smith looking for the corner. In fact, that time, it was John Smith. That ball may have almost on the verge of staying in, but that is a terrific one right downfield. And the Great Whites, a match for the Orca. In fact, it's an apex sea creature. And old South African movie, says Wild Lobster. There was a comedy South African movie that someone said I had to watch. But I can't remember. We need to make a list of 100 films Hamish to watch before he dies, says Big Rig. Or maybe just 100 films that I need to watch like in a year rather than before I end up dying. I think I could get through 100 films a year. No, maybe not. Maybe give me 2 years. 1 film a week for a 2-year period I can do. And maybe we would even do some sort of movie review for each and every one. Probably not on this channel, though. I don't think anyone would really care. But on another one, maybe that's going to be the penalty. Or sorry, the try there for the Sharks. Another yellow card for Fiji in their game. But now the Sharks have struck first, 24 minutes in. And we will get that scoreboard now updated. The Sharks will be happy about it. One moment, we'll go like this. And we'll go like that as well. Heavily deserved try for what they've been able to do. In this first half, it was Marias who scored it. 100 films in a year is a tall order. Yeah, although I do think it's doable. You know, like people finish TV shows in like 2 days. Jacques Maria, very happy. Although, you're the one dude in New Zealand who's never watched Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I haven't seen Lord of the Rings. I haven't seen The Hobbit. I haven't watched Stephen Donald's movie about him getting that World Cup kick over either. Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of movies. Hamish watched the whole of Downton Abbey tonight. I have never actually seen it. I know that there's that older lady, whose name I can't remember. Maggie Smith? Maggie someone. Maggie... Might be Maggie Smith. The Hobbit movies aren't great, says Big Rig. Do you need to watch them to understand Lord of the Rings, though, or is it the other way around? And try your piece, says Mariana. Let's go the Sharks, says Lilia. And also, I think we're getting a penalty try for Scotland, says Studs Race. And yeah, another yellow card for Fiji, unfortunately. Lord of the Rings is a mammoth book of tons of stuff. They made 3 movies and didn't cover all of it. Says Big Rig now. Kicked high by the Sharks. Sabale chasing after it. Good aerial battle there between the two teams, but knocked on from Sabale again. His hands are letting him down a little bit. The early stages of this match, I should mention that kick from the Sharks did go over, so the score sits 7 points to 0 currently. We'll go like that, and we will go like that as well. And now you can jump right into Lord of the Rings, says Big Rig. And The Hobbit is a short, simple kid's story. They stretched agonizingly to 3 movies. See, but I actually like a few movies that are made for kids, so maybe that would suit my brain a lot better. You know, for a while, my favorite movie was Hotel Transylvania. So, you know, take of that what you will. We have got the Hamish Terminator, says Ruth. The most beautiful actress of all time is Sophia Loren. I've never heard of her, which might get me in trouble. What has she been in? Out of curiosity. One Hobbit movie would be great. Says Big Rig now going on to the right-hand side. Little short pass. Lambrecht knocks it on for Boland, who have been far from their best throughout the first 27 minutes. Short, simple, sweet, says Big Rig. And Hamish filmed in New Zealand. And hi, mate. Hope you're well. It's been a full day for you, says Rajina. And there's still plenty more coming. We are going to be doing the Ramphilly Shield match tomorrow alongside the 2 games of the Women's World Cup. New Zealand taking on... will be Japan, and then also alongside that we will get to see South Africa taking on the Italians, which for me is the match of the weekend in terms of the importance of that game. It's like a little bit of a cut on the chin, or on the cheekbone actually. Oh, look at that, Hamish. Well, what have you missed? Simply breathtaking, gorgeous, says Kevin. So what movies has she been in? I may have seen her before, to be fair. I just can't remember it. And another Fiji breakout, says Studs Race. And they made a trilogy and it blows, says Big Rig. Scrums at the moment, 100% for both of these sides, 28 minutes through. I realise that scoreboard, there we go, now it has updated to where it needs to be, going off to the right-hand side. There's actually about 3 or 4 players with bandages out there at the moment due to all the blood that has been shed in this contest. The Sharks, they smell blood here and they are going for the attack and play about 30 metres out from the line. Big attack and run from the lock. Slubbert, another advantage. Going against Boland, who will be up to about 9 in a row. Christy Robala going to Sabale now. 10 metres from the line. His jersey is grabbed. He gives it off to Everson, who's trying to show off that quick stepping. Another offload. It's getting rough now. And they did already have the penalty advantage, but it will be play on. Hamish Google, the beautiful lady, says Kevin. And now short ball, Mavaseri. Offload again for the Sharks. Where's the try line? I think they're over it. Yes, they are. And it is the second try of the match now for the Sharks. They have fired quickly, back to back. Some nice crisp handling from the forwards there to just get them in a perfect position. We have got there a great game. Scots and Fijians brought it. Should have been in bed hours ago, says Suds Race. Yeah, really good game of rugby. 29 points to 15, the closest game so far, which I don't think was expected for that contest. Great effort by Fiji, says Big Rig, and go the Sharks, says Marion in there too. And my father loved Dolly Parton, says Ruth. Did Dolly Parton sing 9 to 5 or was that someone else? Have I just offended Dolly Parton lovers with that statement? I think she sung it, didn't she? Was that her? I'm just going to maybe get myself into trouble if I keep talking. That kick has gone over. Nice one from the Sharks. And that is now going to make the score 14 points to 0. A much better performance she did. That's lucky, wasn't it? I hear cheering, but it's from the Moses Stadium, I'm sure. And Dolly Parton acted in 9 to 5. Says Kevin and Defo, the closest game so far. Great defence from Scotland. Fiji showing absolute passion in the second half. Could have easily been 29-24. I agree. I think that Fiji they'll be a bit disappointed with only the 15 on the board because they were right in it for a majority. They had more possession throughout that game than Scotland. So, next week's going to be a tough game for the Scottish up against the Canadians. Over and out. Thank you, Hamish. Says Jay, so we will see you later on. Now, going to be kicked off by Mostert to get us back underway in this contest. Well controlled under the high ball from Kunini. I must read The Clan of the Cave Bear series of books. Do they have a movie or a series on it? I haven't read many books lately, as you can probably tell. But now, knocked on by Boland. But it will be the penalty now going the way of the Cavaliers. They're down by 14, so I do feel like they have to kick it towards the corner here rather than going for the 3 points. 3 points might just end up getting them in a little bit of trouble, I would say. Your picture actually has both stadiums in it. Says Gold Story. It does. Yeah, I've got Sharks there and then Twickenham as the one in the side. So, although that last game, Fiji-Scotland, sadly not played at Twickenham. But the final will be. So it will be one to keep an eye out for. Boland down to 14. They are down by 14. They did have 14 in the earlier stages of the game due to the deliberate knockdown from Louis Schroeder. Oh my goodness, Dolly, how are you holding up there? Says Blues Nate. And also, Clan of Cave Bear had a movie with Daryl Hannah. I don't know who that is. I need some movie knowledge in my life. I think I'm going to have to start watching movies and start just, slightly learning. That looks like it might be a yellow card here for the Sharks. Referee reaches to the pocket. The Breakfast Club. Another one that I haven't seen. And that'll be a disappointing one for the Sharks to now go down to 14. Definitely after they've had the better of the last little while in this game. Just seems like they are at times their own worst enemy here. You can't afford to give opportunities to the opposition 5 metres out from the line. Now ready for that line out throw. The face palm there from Lilia. Had to do that quite a bit for the Sharks. Throughout their season. This is a big rolling ball from Boland. They'll be just short. Or will they? No, getting the ball on the line. Brilliantly done. And they are now back into the contest. It's going to be Aransa, or is it Sangweni? Who manages to score? I think it is Arnse. And going to watch Stallone in that movie Climbing. Yeah, that's going to be Saleh Arnse. Does end up scoring a Boland now back in the game because of a couple bad decisions from the Sharks. Oh, we'll go like this. We'll go like that as well. Lilia B, tell me why not Lilia C? I assume that one's also a joke, Kevin, right? You're covering so many games at odd hours. When will you make time for movies? Also, when you have a girlfriend, you'll be in trouble, says Rajenia. I will need a very understanding. Is this a football field? Sorry for cutting you off there for that one, but this ground only has one post. I never noticed up until now. That's unique. That's something that you don't see too often in the game of rugby union. But yeah, no, I will need to find someone who's very understanding because I think that I would annoy most people with my sleep schedule. You know, I'm currently up at 4 a.m. We have got there 7 in Silence of the Lamb says, well, the only benefit I will mention though is with my broken sleep schedule, I'm normally up at breakfast time. So because of that, they would get a lot of cooked breakfasts. It would be a random mixture of all sorts of concoctions. I have a dry sense of humour. Says Kevin, extremely dry, I would say. No. I was waiting for the punchline. I assumed there was something else coming in afterwards. We have got there, you have to see The Matrix. That's really where to start. Promise me on your life. Yeah, see, I haven't seen The Matrix as of yet, so I will watch it at some point in my lifetime. Shawshank Redemption, Godfather, Schindler's List, Back to the Future, Fight Club, Spirited Away. I've watched Schindler's List. I had to watch it for, I think it was year 9 in school. I had to do like a full report about it. So that was quite traumatizing, but yeah, that was kind of the movie that everyone had to watch and analyze all the scenes and say exactly what was happening. I'm still waiting for it, the punchline. Says Lilia B. And now 22 metres out from the line now. Everson trying to snipe round. That was a little bit too high from Sydney Tobias. Now Everson digging around for that ball. Going off to the left-hand side again. Subale. Ball on the outside. Down the wing. Christy Robala gets about 5 metres out. How old is year 9? Because that's some heavy stuff. So that is about 14 years old, I think it is. Somewhere around there, probably. Yeah, 14, 13. Now Everson, pick and go again. Year 9 seems young for Schindler's List. Says Studs Race. I think it was year 9, or it might have been year 10 maybe. I might have been slightly older, but yeah, it was interesting. You know, because of the subjects that I was taking, because I was doing digital as well as PE, it meant that I wasn't in the same English class as pretty much anyone in my year. I was in a class with the ones younger than me. So they were all learning about some fun stuff, and I had to sit there with a laptop and headphones on watching Schindler's List while everyone else was just having fun. It was quite the experience. I guess you got to learn about the darkness of humanity. That's being thrown into the deep end, says Big Rig Joe. And can the Sharks salvage their season? Honestly, no. Like, they can't make it through to the semi-finals, but they can finish on a high, you know? Lay what speak English, not code, says Kevin. And that kick has gone over, taking the 3 there for the Sharks. So after the 37 minutes now, they will lead 17 points to 9. Well, sorry, 17 points to 5. And okay, Boland on the board, says Roof there. Yeah, the thing is, Boland, this is still a pretty decent scoreline. You know, they will be happy with anything less than 15 behind. We'll go there. That sucks. Be fun to chat in the final. Says, cool story there. And also we have got there. Then again, my dad let us watch Tour of Duty about Vietnam War when I was 8 because of ex-army. He hates almost every war movie. Says Studs Rays. Because what is I Am David? I can't remember what that movie's about, but we had to watch that in about year 7, I think it was. Then we watched Saving Private Ryan in year 9 as well. We watched, what other movies? We watched V for Vendetta. That was year 10, I think. So we watched a few pretty rough ones throughout the younger years of high school. Now it's a scrum feed for the Sharks again, 22 metres out. You've got there, Doc, on your best day, you are not as good as me on my worst day. Well, that's a very humble statement, isn't it? Nice to see you keeping that, that humbleness. But that's going to be the penalty from Boland. Big scrum there. They love making you watch World War II movies. Says Big Rig. That seems odd to me. I guess it was supposed to teach us about the cinematography of it rather than the point of the movies, I guess. There's a wind blowing there. It's in Peter Maritzburg. Sharks building a nice lead, says Joss. I don't think the wind's too much of a factor in this one. Doc, you're the only one in this platform with a bit of brains, says Kevin. Their Schindler's List actually happened, so I get it, but Saving Private Ryan and V for Vendetta are fiction, says Big Ring. Now 5 metres out from the line, Boland starting to roll forward, so it wasn't history class. No, it was just English. We had to analyse the scenes and whatnot, and that one's not coming out for Boland. That is a big moment there for the Sharks, a massive feather in the cap of their defence. No, it is not windy, says Lisa. And there as well. Is it Lisa or Liza? It might actually be Liza, is it? I apologise if I have been saying that wrong, but do let me know. We have that eagle has landed. So here's Ruth. Of course, that game just around the corner between England and Samoa. That one's supposed to be a very one-sided affair. You watch movies for English class, I'm jelly. So here's Big Rig. Only sometimes. So there was a lot of the time where we did have to learn the slightly more strenuous stuff. Lisa. Oh, okay. Okay. We'll try my best to pronounce it a lot better. I apologise for calling you Lisa throughout it. So Lisa. It's going to stay in my brain now. I like Mark Wahlberg and Charles Bronson. That one's going to be kicked in Dutch by the Sharks. Halftime comes around and 17 points to 5. The score in this matchup. Honestly, a pretty good half from this side from Durban. What we will do is we will put half time on the scoreboard. The national anthems are just being sung during the Samoa and England game now. So not too far away from that match getting underway. Looks like a decent amount of support for Samoa. Getting into it, we did Braveheart for film study in English class. Check that out as well. Hamish says, cool story. That's the one with Mel Gibson, isn't it? I think he is the main guy in Braveheart, I believe. In the second half, just around the corner. I do think that the Sharks, the lead here should be enough, but you just never know. Like, Boland have been down by big margins before and come back to win games. You know, there was a stage in the earlier Currie Cup season where, in fact, we'll look at some of the scorelines. Boland at halftime up against the Pumas were down 21-3. They came back to win that game 29-26. So Boland are never out. And through says Blues Nate. And also in the ladies' roof, it's Meryl Streep, says Kevin. Yeah, first half was very fast in terms of how quickly it flew by Bronson, the actor, on the infamous Prisoner, says Kevin. And there, I would assume the actor, if she's put him in the same category as Mark Wahlberg. But yeah, benches. We'll look through at who they have got as the options. Matt Ramal to make his way off. He's a very physical individual. Also, a little bit of an interesting one here for the Sharks. Sia Masuku. He's going to be making his way off the bench for the second half of this contest. David Britz there, Godlin Masimla. They are two players to keep an eye out for in this game for Boland. Are you starting a reaction channel? Is in like reacting to movies? It's something that I could end up doing in the future. I haven't got too many plans for it, but if I'm going to be watching hundreds of movies that I should have already seen, maybe. But then I think I'd frustrate people because I'd assume my movie reactions would be very much like my rugby commentary, which would be like on the fence. And that would annoy people who really want like a deep dive into a movie. Loved Mel Gibson and Winona Ryder. Says Ruth there. We do see England versus Samoa is just about to kick off. My question, ladies and gentlemen, is how many tries will we see England score during the halftime break of this game. We have the scoreline is 17 points to 7, not 17-5. Says Mono, one moment. We will go like this and like that as well. There we go. Has all been fixed. They're making burgers on an ad here, and now I am hungry. Bruce Willis, Masuku, was initially on the starting lineup. Oh, was he? I wonder what the reason behind it would be. Why you'd switch a guy out from a starting lineup but still have him off the bench? Because if there was some sort of injury, you wouldn't risk having him at all, would you? So interesting choice. Lilia is modest. She should be Lilia A. Says Sakabula. And we have there, I think, England will score 10 tries from Jeff Smith there. 10 tries during this halftime break, or just 10 tries? I'd assume 10 tries in general already. England looking to attack, going down the wing. Oh, knock on though early from the Red Roses. England line out off the bat. Says Big Rig. Score we started A Perfect World. Kevin Costner and Clint Eastwood. I absolutely recommend that one, says Studs Race. Game has started, says Big Rig. Yep, we are underway for that contest. And at the moment for this game, 2 tries to the 1. Sharks chasing a bonus point. Theoretically, I don't think they can even get close to the top 4. But they would love to be able to get themselves 1 or 2 extra tries before the end of this matchup, just for the sake of looking a little bit higher up in the overall standings. It would be much better than being further down. I was playing at the Moses Stadium, guys. Don't even know who Natal's football team is. I think it's American football, or at least it might be, because the post that they've got is, they've got like the kind of the 2 posts and then the one down the bottom. How am I going to do this? In fact, if I can squeeze this hard enough, it's like that in terms of the posts. That worked, kind of. I think it will be 64-10. Says Big Rig Joe. Going a high scoring one. 10 for Samoa. Honestly, they'd take that. You know, last game that they played of that Women's World Cup, they did get beaten 73-0. So, you know, if they score a few points, I'd be more than happy. The scoreline will be a cricket score by England 84-0 of the Samoa. Yeah, I did initially want to cover that game, but at the same time, you know, it could get brutal for the Samoans. Hopefully they saw a little bit of what Fiji were able to do, though, and they really try and up their momentum heading into that game and just really throw everything into it. 110-0, sorry, Manu Samoa. Well, I saw that the odds, or on the line, it had it that England were expected to win by around 86 points. I'm pretty sure it's a soccer team playing there. Well, that will be a tricky goal to score. I wonder why maybe that's just the only goalpost that they have available. I watched in Star Trek's, Hamish. I have not seen Star Trek. I think I've watched 1 or 2 Star Wars movies, but I haven't watched them all efficiently. England just scored the first try. It's going to be Meg Jones does score the first try. Thorns of the Red Roses are prickly. Says Big Rig. Yeah, first try of the Rugby Women's World Cup for Meg Jones there. Match statistics for this game, though. Handling error, 6 from Boland. They have conceded 8 penalties. So in both of those departments, they have been worse than the Sharks. The Sharks have got 10 turnovers conceded. And also 17 tackles made for the Sharks throughout that first 40 minutes. So not having to make a huge amount. 2 times they have reached more than 5 phases. They've had 63% possession, but the territory advantage does go the way of Boland. Good Star Trek is some of the best TV out there. Bad Star Trek can make you want to smash your face into a wall. So how do you know the difference between them? Is it like just dependent on the episode? And depending on how happy or unhappy you leave it. At the moment in the points table, Boland, if they get themselves 1 point from this game, they would move into second place in the overall standings. Now, the Pumas would be playing up against the Western Province, but neither of those sides would be able to catch up with Boland if that was the case. They still can't, even if they don't get their bonus point. But if Boland get the try, and then another one, and then another one, they can find themselves sitting at the top of the bunch ahead of the Griquas at the end of this round. Still a bit of work to do. DS9's and The Pale Moonlight is one of the best episodes of any TV show ever. There you go. In The Pale Moonlight. So what, wait, I was going to say what makes it so good, but then I'd spoil it for myself. You don't, you have to watch it to find out. And NFL lineout, I'll ask a trekkie you trust, says Big Rig. How do you know they're a trekkie, though? Is it to do with the kind of finger thing, isn't it? That's what they do in Star Trek, isn't it? What's quite difficult to do, though, and I want everyone to try it while we've got the halftime break, go from that, and then go put that together, and then, put those two out. That tests the brain. See if you can do it. And try not to get too angry at your fingers. We have got their Star Trek has been going on since the 60s. There's like 17 movies and 1,000 episodes. Watch a movie called Galaxy Quest. If you like that, you might like Star Trek. Says Studs Race. Okay, so there's like a feeding into it type of thing. Galaxy Quest. Is it on Netflix? Because I do have a Netflix account, which is just sitting there, not in use at the moment. I do need to try and watch something in the near future. Is it Galaxy Quest? It's not there, I don't think, by the looks of it. Oh, well, it was worth a try. Well, I assume your friends tell you they like the show. We'll try later. Fingers too cold at the moment. I can't even do it. Says Big Rig, my fingers yell at my brain. It takes a little bit because your thumb wants to get involved too. But I just have too much spare time. There's pretty much the gist of that. Once you get the hang of it, it's kind of, a little bit easier. I don't know if it's any good, like whether or not it helps with the brain. Probably not. Look at me. It's hilarious, but kind of assumes you know Star Trek tropes, says Big Rig. Well, it was worth a shot, says Studs Rays and Gangster. Do that on a regular, says Blues Nate. And we have there Galaxy Quest as a comedy making fun of Star Trek, says Big Rig Joe. Okay, so it's like a parody type of movie. My fingers hurt, says Lilia. The score at the moment, England versus Samoa, 7-0 for the English after the 7 minutes in that contest. England strike again. They haven't for me just yet. My brain hurts, says Bruce. Yeah, it can happen. My fingers worked right, says Wild Lobster. And also, knowing you're not covering it, Western Province play the Pumas in 72 minutes' time. Says Mornay, that is true. One of those games that, the Pumas can work their way towards that top 4 a little bit more. I don't know, my bro never watched Star Trek and loved Galaxy Quest. Actually watch a few Star Trek movies after. We have you there from Lyndon Link to watch the game live. Sadly, the only links really are DSTV. Super Sport is the option for the Currie Cup, or Sky Sport, Stan Sport is the other two. Yep, another try being scored by England there. So you're a good 30 seconds at least ahead of me for the England try, Big Rig. And Rosie says Blues, Nate. And also we've got there, Cheer Uncle Hamish says Sprees there, and your Galaxy is a parody where actual aliens turn up and don't realise the TV show isn't real, says Big Rig. It sounds kind of entertaining. Is it an old movie or is it kind of new? They kidnap the actors and make them fight a war, says Big Rig Joe. Both sides have made their way back out onto the field. It's like a great amount in terms of attendance. Like they're saying, everyone's ready for the kickoff. Started playing touch footy again yesterday morning, cheer. Says Spree. So hopefully it has been going well. If you haven't been doing any sort of running around, I'm sure you've probably got a few sore muscles at the moment. But I believe it's supposed to get easier. It's a great kick from the touchline from England. 14-0 the moment. At the moment between England and Samoa. This game, Boland are going to be kicking off from left to right. They are down by 10 points, but last game up against the Pumas, they were down at halftime by, I believe it was 18, and they still went on to win the game. So you just never quite know what this Boland side are going to do. But second half, just now getting underway. Christy Robillard is back from that injury that he did suffer at the start of the Carling Currie Cup season. Sharks now rolling it back with Everson. 1999, you tell me if that's old. Well, I feel depressed. That's the year I was born. Oh, almost a high shot there in the Samoan game, but now sitting around the halfway line. Nicely picked up by Donovan Don. Plenty of pace. He's tackled by his teammate and Christy Hrobala. Those two men being in the blitz box together quite frequently. Now Everson low tackle. How much game gone in England Samoa? Currently 10 minutes into that contest and it is 14-0 for the English there. Lancaster was good. Coach prefers him over John Mitchell, says Blues Nate. All right, they're going back for an initial forward pass from Boland, which means that the Sharks do have themselves the scrum here. Do let me know your in-score prediction, ladies and gents. I should mention that the Sharks are still actually playing with just the 14 men on the field. That was due to Kotsia Leroux. He did end up getting taken off the field. I see Argentina-Australia game is going to be at 6:30 a.m. South African time, too early for me. Says Mornay. Yeah, and it's very close to the start of the New Zealand versus South Africa game. I wanted to do quite a big build-up for that matchup, but it might become a little bit more tricky to do now with that other match taking place beforehand. But we are going to be doing, hopefully, a live preview the night before, as well as maybe... That's the thing. I might end up doing a live preview of South Africa and a live preview of New Zealand, depending on the time zones, depending on... I might do one at, let's say, 6 p.m. South African time compared to one at 7 p.m. New Zealand time. Might be an option that we look at. Couple guests. I'm really not organised, though. This is something that I've only just come up with, so that might get me in a bit of trouble. Oh, Everson almost got kicked in the face there. And the breakdown by the Sharks, looking for the cross kick from John Smith. Oh, great hands. Donovan Don doing extremely well to be able to claim that ball and decides to kick it downfield. 1-point win game. 1-point game for the Sharks win. Kicked in a touch. No pressure on him there, so just gets rid of it. In smart fashion, we do see the return onto the field for Leroux. And we'll now be back to the full 15 out there on the field. Boland, they will want at least 1 bonus point from this game. If they can get 2, it would be a bonus. If they can get 4 points or 5, be even better for them. Now ready to throw this ball in for the Sharks. I see taking a little short pop pass up to Maviseri. I'll look into the side, Everson. Will shift it away again. What time is kickoff next Saturday? New Zealand versus South Africa. It will be 9:05 a.m. South African time. 7:05 New Zealand time. Beautiful hands there from Potgaita. Gets back up to his feet just short of the try line, which is very kind of... what do you call it? I was going to say blurry, but it's very vague or very faded at the moment. That goal line, the penalty goes the way of the Sharks. Now, they could take the 3 here, or they could look towards the corner. England have another 5-metre line out. Yeah, I think they'll have a few of those throughout this matchup. And thanks, says Bruce, no worries at all. So, yeah, we are going to be doing a little bit of a build-up, at least 30 minutes worth. I would have liked to do the full hour, but because of that time that Australia versus Argentina takes place, the only way of doing a longer build-up would actually be to not finish that Argentina-Australia game, which I think would cause massive outroar. Definitely with New Zealand, South Africa not starting at the point of us doing an yellow card for Boland. Now, their discipline has been poor throughout this game, although they have not been the side... Well, they did get the early one of Schroeder, but they haven't really gone to the bin too many times up till now. We have got the England third try, 15 minutes in, and game is going exactly what you'd expect. Yeah. Which is why I was more, I guess, looking at this game as the option. Like I said, I was pretty much debating all throughout the last 24 to 48 hours about which game to do. I ended up waiting a little bit too long to make my decision, but we got there in the end. And Boland 24 to the Sharks 20 is Leon's prediction. Now another step coming in from Mariah. And Sharks vs Boland is definitely closer. Says Big Rig. The World Cup is in 2027 October, so more than 2 years away. Way too early. Tell how that would go. Says cool. But now Boland have managed to get the ball back, so surviving another Sharks attack. And that's a very good exit from almost inside of his goal line. Now they have decided to take the 5-metre quick throw. Sabale managing to run it back, looking for the offload to Kunini, but doesn't get it away now. Digging for that ball, Everson. I think he's knocked that on. in the breakdown, but it is going to be play on. In fact, it becomes a penalty advantage now in favour of the Sharks. A fly boot coming from Donovan Don. They'll go back for another penalty. I thought it would be closer, says Ruth. But just a bit of a, once again, a silly play here from Boland. The side entry from Sangweni, it just wasn't needed. You know, they're in a scenario where you're down a man. You want to get as much possession as possible, but you can't try and force it in those breakdowns. Or else you just, you know, you become your own worst enemy. Winona Ryder, Kate Ainsletty, Dane Judy Dench, says Ruth. And Winslet. Oh, Kate Winslet, I should say. She's in the Titanic, isn't she? I've never seen it. Okay, they're just going back for it still being a penalty here. Only 10 points difference. So I do think, once again, the Sharks got a big decision to make, but they are actually going to go for the kick at the post here. This, for me, is the wrong choice at this point. I do think that had they gone for the corner and maybe scored off a rolling maul, it will force Boland to make another error on defence, which would have led more than likely to another yellow. He struck it well. It goes over, so that is the big benefit. 13 points now in favour of the Sharks, 20-7. Well, we'll go like this and like that as well. And sorry, England's women are up to 3 tries already, says Jeff. Yeah, they are flying at the moment. They just got themselves another one for Meg Jones, who has got herself the double already in the match. Now kicked off. And that one's going to be nicely taken going away. And a drop ball. Hey, you're a legend, great Kiwi and rugby ambassador. Says best spot. I do appreciate it. Of course, we've got plenty more coming up in the near future too. You know, that Springboks versus All Blacks game at Eden Park is absolutely massive. And it's going to be a crazy live stream. I can say that right now. Or at least I think it will be. It might surprise us. You know, but it's going to be a pretty awesome match. And hopefully at the end of it, both sides go, right, great game of rugby, and now we get to do it all again the next week. Change the channels now. Sharks versus Boland on. Says Blues Native 26-0, says Big Rig. Anything possible in the worst conversion attempt of the tournament? Oh, yeah, no, that is a mile away to the side. I've just seen it there. Both scrums. Pax getting told to stand back up. She was in the Titanic. See, here's Ruth. Saying about Boland needing the tries. In your debate with 2 Cents Rugby, or in your debate with 2 Cents Rugby were, says Joss, that might have cut off too early, Leonardo DiCaprio. Says Ruth. They're sitting nicely on the field here, Boland. And a DSTV subscription. We get to see all those movies in one day. Says Yuri. Free kick now going the way of Boland. Can we focus on the Currie Cup? Says Craig. I believe we are. But now, quick tap being taken here. Oh no, deciding against it now, going off to the left-hand side. Schroeder. And the ball into the hands of Thurlow Marsh, the big skipper for Boland. Now quick hands from James Stetter. Offloads on the outside to Donovan Don. It should be the try, but I think they will check it to see whether or not it was a backwards pass. But Donovan Don adds to his try-scoring tally and scores it between the posts too. Well, there's only one post, so what do you call that? Behind the post in that scenario. And another try for Boland. In the debate with 2 Cents Rugby, how did they decide which you argue for which team, says Joss? Pretty much what happened was, it was only a couple hours beforehand that we actually had a bit of a conversation about the potential of doing it. I pretty much came up with the idea and I said, do you guys want to do it? And that was only like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours before we ended up filming. We hadn't actually decided who was arguing what points at that stage. But when we showed up for the filming, because, of course, 2 Cents, he has a lot of merchandise. He had that New Zealand cap on, and I was like, okay, like you can argue for New Zealand. So, yeah, the thing is, the original video was going to be he argues for New Zealand, I argue against New Zealand. But then it just seemed like it would have been too negative towards the All Blacks. So, in that regard, I kind of switched it a little bit and kind of half by argues for South Africa too, but the original plan was actually that it was going to be just about the All Blacks, seeing as we're from New Zealand. And also because I knew that if I was arguing South Africa, some people from South Africa wouldn't be happy that I was their representative, which has been the case. 50 minutes in at the moment, 14 points to 20, the way that the score sits. Now back into the pocket. Getting it downfield. Nicely taken by the Sharks, who now, once again, have experienced, just like many other teams, a bit of a Boland comeback. England player bowled over 3 Samoans with a single tackle. They're feeling it. Now backline movement for the Sharks, getting out into Mavasiri's hands. He can break through tackles if he wants to. What an offload that is. Gets it to Christy Robillard. Passes on the inside to Everson, who does still have Robillard with him. He was in front, so it would have probably been offside, but the ball goes into touch off Everson's boot. The Sharks almost managing to fire straight back into this game. Now, quick throw taken by, I think that was a quick throw taken by Boland, and it's actually ended up in the hands of the Sharks. Massive attack and run there from Kutsia Leroux. Looked for the offload, but it's gone straight to Juan Moster, who went with a round-the-back pass attempt from only 10 metres out from his line. There is going to be the scrum feed now for Boland, but a bit of a hectic little patch in this contest for the two sides. Okay, they just mentioned about the second last pass was actually forward. But just seems like it's going to be one of those close finishes to a Carling Currie Cup game. Every once in a while we get one like that. Now it is extremely close. 28 minutes remaining. 2 minutes remaining of the Boland yellow card too. So they are still down just at this point in time. We will go like this. And like that as well. Now ball's going to go in for Boland. Sitting now 5 metres out from their line. That one's going to be kicked into touch by the Boland fullback. In fact, that time it was actually Mostert. Just want to quickly check to see what the odds are in this one. Go like that and like that as well. So currently, Boland are the underdogs, as you would expect by being down by the 6, but it's pretty close at the moment. And I think that is because of what we're seeing from Boland in terms of their comeback ability. England with back-to-back knock-ons right on the goal line, says Big Rick. And Boland aren't having a good day, are they? Their discipline's been poor throughout this match. There is absolutely no denying that. They have been far from their best when it comes to that discipline count. Oh, another knock on from Boland. The handling maybe has been a little bit rough too. But now we will go back for yet again another scrum. Currently up by 6 here for the Sharks, but it won't be enough. They do need another try. If they get themselves 2 more, they get a bonus point from this game. So that is a big bonus. And that ball just dropped by Everson there. And also Thurlow Marsh, the first man to knock it on. Leonardo DiCaprio was executed years ago. Now in Guantanamo Bay. Crimes against humanity. Enough said about Hollywood. So who's the Leonardo DiCaprio in Hollywood at the moment? Is he still, like, is he like a, are you saying he's a body double? Or something? I'm sure there's a lot of conspiracy theories going around in there. Score now says Mohadeen. At the moment, the score, once I move my mouse, there we go. 20 points to 14 at the moment, and that is another penalty going the way of the Sharks. This could be a 3-pointer out in front. Very good chance to be able to extend that lead to more than 7. See, this would confuse me if they now kick this one to the corner rather than going for the 3 points, seeing as, you know, they put themselves in the position they're kicking for the corner. So, okay, so the last one that I didn't think they'd kick for the corner, they did. This one that I thought they wouldn't kick for the corner, they did. Did I say that right? No. The one that I thought, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I've confused myself. You did good, Hamish. Was a solid debate, laying the smack down, Mark laying it out. Let's go 2 cents rugby, battles in Paris. Yeah, he used a lot more swear words than I was expecting heading into that game. Mark was absolutely going for it. Another change here for Boland. Now line out chance here for Marai. Oh. Okay, no, they are making changes. Score for England. We have their smiles looking a little brighter today. So here's Caitlin there. It's been a good game. I'm probably slightly less, well, that might not be true. I was going to say slightly less sleep deprived than last week, but my sleep schedule is still very broken. But yeah, I hope you're doing well. I'm sure that you are smiling a lot more with the way that the Sharks are playing at the moment. Sitting 20 points to 14. I just realized maybe you were talking about your smile the whole time. That's a good try from the Sharks, though. They will get another one and moving towards that bonus point. 1 second, we will update that scoreboard. And yes, censoring says Blues Nate. Yeah, that took a lot of editing. There were a lot of bleeps that I had to add in there. And depending on how Australia go against Argentina and the All Blacks, do you think they're back? I think Australia are a lot closer to being back than they were about a year ago. You know, they were pretty rough. I meant yours literally, says Caitlin there. Okay, see, I got confused. I thought you were, like, for a second, that was where I thought it was for a start. Then I thought it was yours, but now it's mine, so thank you very much. Now, lining up this kick here will be John Smith. Hamish, another top-class commentary. Thank you, top draw stuff. Says Kevin there. There'll be big smiles on the faces of the Sharks fans too, as that kick has gone through the posts. Gives them a very handy lead here. And boy, Hamish, Buddy Eggs up north, says Blues Note. Buddy Eggs up north. As in, like, I've got, like, a bird's nest in my brain? That wouldn't surprise me. We have got the body doubles, says Bruce. Now, this one's going to be kicked off again. David Britz makes his way onto the field. That is for Lumbreck. Donovan Donny wouldn't mind another try for Boland. He's already got 8 throughout this year. Now Everson, rolling it back again. 22 metres from the line. He's got the bandage on his head. Quite a few players having a few bandages out there at this point in time. Not a very fun day at the office. A lot of physicality. Mavaseri now pass it across Smith with a skip pass on the outside. Nice stepping from Diego Apollos. Sharks won't get 40 either. I think they've got a chance to get to that 40 mark. Oh, late charge there from Boland. We have got there. Would have never been able to guess what Buddy Eggs up north meant. Was it right, though? Tony and Mark, the 2 eggs from the north. Oh, somewhere. Oh, yeah, no, I get you. Okay. I am misinterpreting everything, it would seem. I thought you were talking about, like, you know how in the cartoons they have, like, a monkey crashing cymbals in their head? That's kind of what I thought you were talking about. But, yeah, no, I'll have to head up to Auckland at some point and try and do something with them. Oh, I just remembered I've got something new, which I'm going to use now once Boland score a try. Or the Sharks, depending on who it is. But Boland, I've got the possession. This is my moment. This is hopefully going to work very well. But 3 metres out from the line, Boland with the chance here. Pick and go. They're going to take like 15 phases now. I've been waiting for this moment, though, ever since I saw that I can do it. Now pick and go. Oh, it's an advantage in favour of Boland as well. So a very good chance of being able to get the try. He's just passed it into his teammate. What's he doing there? Okay, we will have to use that a little bit later on. We have got there, I prefer your version, says Caitlin. And we have got there, I'm not sure who to support. I'm a Shark supporter, but stays in the Boland. Oh, so you got the best of both worlds in a way. Either way, you've got something good. Oh, hang on. What does that mean? Is that subs? Oh, no, the ref. Does the ref have a bleeding knee? Oh, no, it's not his knee. Number 17's knee. I think it is, maybe. And Ruth, my love, whose ball says Mohadeen. It will be the penalty for Boland, so they will be about 5 metres out with the ball in hand. Injury, says Lisa there. And Caitlin, Scottish Highland and those gorgeous big buck, says Ruth. And can Boland still win? They can. They have come back from large deficits before. That's a goal for the Medics. Interesting. I don't think I've seen many referees use that before. Like normally it's more so that the medics have already made their way onto the field, but it looks like there is going to be the change here due to Blula's leg getting cut open. They aren't showing it, which I think means it's quite bad, because normally they love to do the big zoom in and whatnot, but perhaps that one is not one people want to see just round tea time. Just a question, Hamish, did the Sharks bring in some sort or other stats or other starts? They were going to have Sia Masuku in their starting lineup, I did learn, but he is off the bench in this game. So they've made a few changes, but once again, nothing too different from what we saw earlier on. Oh, the ball's been stolen by the Sharks, and they have managed to knock it on, though. So Boland still have the scrum, which means we still have the chance of getting to use our thing. It's either going to work really well, and we might do it again, or it's going to work terribly, and it will never happen on a live stream once more. Don't worry, I haven't got like fireworks or anything, because that would probably set off a smoke alarm. And it's currently 4:30 a.m. New Zealand time, but chopping out the knees there. Those knees get brutalised for these players. A scrum fair for Boland, sitting 5 metres out from the line. Ball about to be fed in by Louis Schroeder. 20 minutes remaining. 13 points. You would think it would be enough for the Sharks, but you just never know. Back off the scrum. 1 metre out from the try line here. Now Schroeder decides that he wants to go with a pick and go. He's one of the smaller players out there on the field for Boland, so now leaving it for the big men. Get him once again that little bit closer to the try line. Now pick and go again. 1 metre short. Now that is close. That is over. And that is the try. I don't know how loud that was. Could you hear clapping? There's like sound effects. I thought it might be quite cool, but I don't know. That might have been actually really loud, so I apologize if that just like really hurt the eardrums. I need a medic. I've eaten too many maintenance wine gums. I didn't get DJ Khaled out there. England have another one. It was awesome, says Caitlin. Yeah, it probably wasn't. See, that's the thing. My volume's low because I got the multi-screen going. But England are 40-0, so I might just go back to one screen, actually, to be fair. And then if I do that, I might be able to hear it a bit better. 1 second, we'll go here and there like that. I'll go here. I'm going to do it again just because the conversion was good. How loud is it? It's just not necessary, is it? But it adds something. I've also got this one, though. That one could come out quite a bit throughout the streams, definitely with some of the decisions that we see. But Boland back in it with the big old try, making it go big bang. I am so sorry. You're getting too far high tech for us. Clapping with audible, but quiet, says Joss. The applause would have sounded better if it was the Sharks scoring. We'll tell you what, they've got a decent chance here because the Sharks, oh no, another penalty goes the way of Boland. And we have got there, play that when a comment disappoints you. That would be quite often, surely. Every time someone asks where they can watch the game, I'll just go and just try my best to keep a straight face. I should go up to Auckland next year, get Mark and Tony to join you for opening of the new stadium in Christchurch. It could be quite cool. I do think that I should probably try and go to that game anyway. In Christchurch, I don't know whether or not they want to come down. I like the second one, especially for those comments that some people make. And check the calendar if you are free, Mark and Tony. And Boland can come back, says Mohadeen. They absolutely can. This game is close enough that the Boland Kavaliers, just like they've done multiple times, could come back into it. And shake it till it rattles, darling. What does that mean, Rick? We got there Lilia with the clapping and the laughing. Shake it till it rattles. Is that a real saying? It might be. However, they changed the score, says Mohadeen. The score has changed. Now rolling this one back. Everson. Ready to kick it high again. There is actually already the penalty advantage in favour of the Sharks. Going up for the ball, tapping it back to the left-hand side. Mavaseri getting that little bit closer. Now looking to get the steal. Scoreboard accurate. It's on your left-hand side. Oh yeah, I'm still flipped. See, for me it's on this side and it keeps confusing me. So this is where my scoreboard is But you guys see it here, don't you? I think. See, every time I point this way, I'm still getting it wrong. But I don't know why. I think my camera's mirrored. Hang on. We'll get fancy with it. I'm going to quickly flip. Boom. That looks weird. I don't know why that looks weird. Why does that look so weird? I'm going to go back to the other one. I don't like that one. There we go. This has really been a bad tournament for Samoa. They're not even competing. But then that's the thing. They're up against Australia, England, and USA. Like, it was never going to be an easy group. Did Boland lose? They have not lost yet. 14 minutes remaining. They are leading by 6. Boom, nothing happens for us. Wait, really? Did I not switch to the other... Did you guys not see my camera mirrored? Is that only for me? Oh. That's weird. Yes, says Big Rick. And okay, I see it's updated. And England try again. Samoa Putty. Says Big Rick now. Backline. Sharks going for the little chip in behind. It might be dangerous, but a nice mark taken by Boland. No, still the same side. Nothing happened. No, sir, we did not. Well, now Wait, so you guys didn't see me go the other way around? Like, as in, watch very closely. If I click this, am I now like, did my hair switch sides? And now the stadium behind me is the other direction? Maybe? And then if I click it again. Wait, did it do it? Maybe nothing happened that time either. Maybe, I don't know. Technology's difficult. I have no idea how it works. 15 minutes remaining, and it looks like the Sharks are going to line up the 3 points. And I'll get them outside of the 7-point region. Be quite a handy one. John Smith. Been kicking well. 5 from 5 today. This one 30.8 metres out from the try line to give the Sharks that little bit more safety. Is he going to be able to get it over? I hope he does. Kick taken. Does go over. And that's going to be the try. Oh, sorry, not the try, but the conversion. 66 minutes in. And the score now sits 30 points to 21 in favour of the Sharks. I'm having too much fun. See, I could also tell like a dad joke. And then I can afterwards... What's a good dad joke off the top of my head? Nah, haven't got one. Normally have one in the chamber just in case. One step at a time. We got the claps and the boost effects down. And also, I know you were the same. It's all I saw was Flying Pig going past. You look so chuffed with yourself for the sound effects, says Caitlin. See, that's the thing. We've done so many live streams. I don't know how YouTube really works. So... You take the little victories, little bits and bobs. You just went boom. It looks super smug, says Big Rig. Okay, so I thought I was proving a point, but obviously nothing happened. Just quite a shame. Another penalty goes the way of Boland. They're just slowly working their way up the field here. It's going to be just that chance to get back within the 7. I was just looking up a dad joke. I don't get that one. So, the likes of, I could be like, why did the chicken cross the playground to get to the other side? That's it. Oh, sorry, it's actually to get to the other slide. And then I can go... It went on a bit too long. Is it still going? It's like I'm doing a comedy set. Do they not stop? Wait, no, okay, that took too long. I thought it was just a little heart and then that's it, but they just kept on going. That's going to be terrible for... I am a bit sleep deprived, but now going off to the right-hand side here. Boland again on attack. That's a deliberate knockdown from Christy Hrabala. He didn't mean to, but they might get angry. Wine gums have blown my brain. Sounds like a golf clap, says Big Rig. Hamish, do you have mirrors on ceiling above your revolving beard like Austin Powers? That is quite the question. A revolving beard would be quite fun, wouldn't it? But then at the same time, why do you need it to revolve? But then Austin Powers, he was into a bit of the kinky stuff, wasn't he? So maybe that's why his beard could kind of rotate. I wish you should have a referee's whistle. That's actually a good idea. My dream job is cleaning mirrors because I can really see myself doing it. A moment. There you go. They actually laughed harder at the end. They laughed harder after I stopped telling jokes, which is quite sad. What's with the Boland getting back? Boland has to lose. You would think they would, but they just keep on coming back. Time left at the moment. There's still another 11 minutes remaining here. Boland moving up to 22 metres out. Now Godlin Masimla, the pass out wide. The Sharks are ahead by more than that try. And I can guarantee you right now they won't want to let Boland get any closer into this matchup. Another try for Boland as well would give them the bonus point, or at least one. Going back into the pocket, James Tedder. Cross to the right-hand side. David Britz gets through one. He is tackled down. I'll skip pass out to Donovan. Don tries to spin around Christy Robela, who manages to rip him to the ground, and the Sharks take it back, but the penalty advantage was already there. If he didn't mean to, then it can't be deliberate, says Bruce. Yeah, although they do still see it as a deliberate action if your hand is slightly extended away from your body. England turned it over, but still cool to see Samoa do something, says Big Rig. I think you're moving, or you think you're moving. Oh, so do people like sleep on it so that they sleep better? Because it would feel like you're like, it'd be a bit weird, wouldn't it? You get dizzy. Imagine waking up after a night of rotating on your bed. Yeah, I think it would be a bit of a weird experience. Definitely if it goes quite quick. Do they have rocking beds? I know that they're called cots if you are a baby, but like, do they have a bed that like kind of does that a little bit? I know that there was a kid at my primary school who had a water bed, and pretty much you slept on a big sack of water, or like a big mattress, like an air mattress, but it was full of water, and you kind of, you know, get that motion of the ocean going. Not in that way, just more so, just, you know, you kind of feel like you're floating a little bit. Life hack, had enough wine and all beds start revolving. Or have enough wine. Well, there you go. You know, that must be a bit of a rough one when you're sitting there and you're trying to stop it from spinning. How do you stop the world from, well, you don't, but in terms of your head after a night out, there'll be some sort of remedy. I think people have like a raw egg, don't they? That's supposed to help, but I wouldn't do it. Now, Golden Masimla passes off to the left-hand side. Still 10 metres out from the line here for Boland, in a very good position on the field to perhaps go towards getting themselves a try. Another offload 3 metres out from the try line. Golden Masimla going off to the left again. Boland. They just don't seem to know how to give up in a second half. They will just keep on fighting. They were down by a massive margin up against the Pumas. That is close to the try line. Almost held up. Now pick and go again. The chant of defense is going around the ground. That might only last for a couple phases. Now pick and go again from Boland. 1 metre short. Brilliant work from the Sharks to be able to stop this onslaught of the Boland forwards. Now still 1 metre out from the try line. It is actually incredible that they haven't been able to score as of yet. Now across to the left, or in fact this time right with the pick and go. Just making sure that they have got the players in position for getting closer to the try line. They'll be within a metre about 7 times, once again just short. After 71 minutes through this fixture, pick and go. This time Boland are over and managed to get themselves the try. That button I'm going to use far too much. You put one foot on the ground and it helps. Hashtag not an alcoholic. Wait, so you have like, so if you're on a bed, you put a foot on the ground to kind of ground yourself, like when you're playing with electricity, and that helps? Or are you saying you stand on 1 foot? Because that might be quite hard to do, but quite funny to watch, I would think, for most people. 72 minutes through, we have seen a brilliant comeback again here from Boland to get themselves back within the 5 points. And a bye all, says Kevin, see you later. And score now, says Mohadeen. The score at the moment is sitting 30 points to 26 with a kick to come that has gone over. And it's going to make the score 28 points to 30. And years ago, I got laughed at when I said I was going to be a comedian. They're not laughing now. Says Bruce. There you go. The one there. Having a joel for us, or having a joel for all of us. Yeah, laying down with one foot on the ground. My balance wouldn't allow standing on one leg even sober, says Caitlin. You see, I'm a bit wobbly on the foot with like 1 foot down as well. Don't know why. Hard work, I think. And Boland comes from behind. They do normally. And they're once again 7 minutes remaining. They just keep doing it, and I don't understand how they do it. They'll become the South African Harlequins. Remember that period where the Harlequins kept on sucking in the first half, and then they'd come back and win every single game, even if they were down by 30? That's what Boland are doing at the moment. I thought this game was over, but Boland back. Says cool story, and meanwhile, England is 47-0 at halftime. Yeah, that one's a bit more one-sided. In that regard, we've had 58 points in total for this one. Boland with the 2 bonus points. They will sit just the 2 points behind. Why was the Crab arrested? Because he was caught pinching things. No, I'm sorry. Oh, there you go. You can have one of those. I've got a drum roll too. Sounds like someone's more so playing the bongos than banging a drum, although a bongo is a drum. The Sharks getting closer. The thing is, the Sharks have 6 minutes here not to butcher this game. That's the reality. They've done well throughout this matchup. They've looked like the stronger team. They've had better discipline. And another advantage going the way of Boland round the halfway line, which could give them the lead in this contest if they decide to go for the 3 controlled out wide from Xavier Mitchell. This is a kickable 3. 50 metres out. Are the Sharks getting close to the Boland try line? Not really. All territory. The plan is to go to the corner for Boland here. They obviously don't feel like 50 metres out they can get there. Caitlin, if you've got a low bed, it's crazy. Or mattress on the floor. So what do you mean by it's crazy, Ruth? Like the spinning is crazy? And beat the Sharkies from a Bulls fan. Says Reactor Boy 2008. There'll be some very nervous Shark supporters at the moment. Lilia, how are you holding up? I know that earlier on when they were in the lead, you're feeling a little bit safer, but probably knew that this game with Boland could go down to the wire as well. Change the score one moment. We'll go like that. There we go. That was already changed. It just took its time. But 5 minutes remaining here for Boland. Will they regret not going for the extra 3 points there? They have managed to retain the line out. Who's your daddy, says Ruth. Wait, what? Where'd that come from? Deliberate knockdown from the Sharks, or it might just be called as a knock-on. And Yellow says, I lollipop. And also, come on, Boland, says Bruce. I've learned not to keep my hopes too high, says Lilia there, with the Shark side. And the thing is, they are trying to butcher it, aren't they? It sounds like this might be a yellow card. They're saying about the Sharks player trying to pretty much run away. Whose ball at the moment? It's Boland's ball. And this one might be a brutal blow. I thought that it said punch, but it just sounds like it's not a convincing noise whatsoever. Thanks for the coverage. Says Haldane, and greetings from the Philippines. Sharks fan here, but hoping for a good result. Yeah, it could come down to the wire last couple minutes or so. Caitlin, my mother said I'm a comedian, says Ruth there. And also, Shark supporters are at the edge of their seats, and so will the Boland supporters as well. He only gets the one hand to it. It's a cat punch. Yellow for the Sharks, maybe. It does look like it could be the yellow coming here. Not ideal. Oh, what about this one? This will be a good one to have. Oh, that's like right in the ears. That's some ASMR stuff. Right. There's a knock on. It was supposed to be like the dramatic heartbeat so that we were getting into the final big moment. And it is a yellow card. I love to do a Springbok prediction with you as a fan collab. Says Reactor Boy. Maybe one day. I was actually thinking about doing that this year in terms of trying to do a prediction with a different person every time. Sounds like an old-fashioned typewriter. Says Jeff. And once again, they've kicked this one for the corner, so they are not backing the kicker in this scenario here, Boland, even though he's actually kicked not too badly throughout today. In fact, I don't think he's missed. How much sleep did you get today? Can you tell that it wasn't as much as maybe I should have? I probably got like 4 or 5 hours, which is pretty decent. You know, it's more than less than that. Now rolling maul, 10 metres out from the line. Godlin Masimla, beautiful hands there. Donovan Don, he was in touch. And that is a big moment in the game because that may be Boland's last big chance. Oh no, they're going back for the penalty. Never mind. Oh, there's a train whistle. Oh, I can't use it. I've been told that I'm not allowed the train whistle. How do I get rid of that so that I can get said train whistle? There we go. Right, this might be loud, so I'll turn it down. It's not quite the whistle that we're after. They're lining up the shot at the post now for Boland. 3 minutes remaining. James Tedder, he is sitting 4 from 4 for today. He's got 30 seconds to slot this one over. There is still time for the Sharks to come back if it does work out. But now James Tedder lines up the kick. Strikes it well. And it went close to the post, but it goes over. And that is now going to make the score 77 minutes in. Boland take the lead for, I believe, the first time in this whole match. And they've decided to leave it about as late as physically possible. We have got there, it's more than less than that, the more you know, says Caitlin. And imagine, sounds like beard springs springing Hamish. Does it? And shout out to all those who will wake up 3 in the morning. There, Lilia with the covering of the eyes there. Yeah, 2 minutes remaining. Boland are up by 1. With not a lot of time remaining. I wasn't sure when that one ended. That was kind of the Sharks' form from this game, unfortunately. They have just dropped off. The final moment score now. Score now is 31 points to 30 in favour of Boland. Nice touch, says Lilia there. What a game, actually. It's been a phenomenal contest between these two sides. Entertaining from start to finish. That one's going to be claimed by Haddon and the Sharks. Mavaseri ready to try and create a chance. 90 seconds remaining. We've got to remember the Sharks kicker has also been extremely clinical throughout this game. Big clean out coming from the Sharks. Call Idris Elba. Because this one is going to the wire, says Big Rig. And just up with the sound effects, please, says Nico. I was waiting to see how long it would take before people got sick of them. That's going to be a knock-on. In fact, it sounded like a double blow of the whistle there. They're going to go back for the initial knock-on, I believe. Is it in favour of the Sharks? Boo, Nico, says Caitlin. However, the ouch penalty, my psychic ability is spot on, says Ruth. Looks like just a bit of attention here for Williams. Okay, it sounded like Haddon just wanted them to check the contact there. You are enjoying the sound effects too much, Hamish, says Bokang. I think that the best way to experience them is if you have been sleep deprived. You know, all we know is Nico got a good night's sleep, which is great to hear. Whose ball, says Mohadeen. That is head on head. That is a collision between Jaco Williams and the Boland number 16. I think this might turn into a penalty here in favour of the Sharks. Score update. The score is still the same, but there is still time remaining. Just about the 1 minute on the clock. Right. So it's not called as a penalty. We saw one in the Women's World Cup that got given as a yellow and then upgraded to a red for something that was less than that. So they're saying the player was in a dipping position. I don't know whether or not that's completely correct. I think that has been ruled as penalties before. I know that has to be a yellow, but they've said, no, it's fine. It's not even a penalty in this one. So the scrum feed on the halfway line. The ball will be fed in by the Sharks, I believe. Where is the ball? Okay, the medic was just given the thumbs up. In fact, my apologies. It is going to be Boland's scrum. So yeah, big call at the end of this game. All they need to do here, if you're Boland, is get the ball in, get the ball out, and then say thanks very much for coming. But are they going to be able to do it? Big push there from the Sharks. That was almost going to be their ball. Godlin Masimla going for a chip in behind rather than kicking it into touch. Awkward bouncing ball, waiting for the pop of it, and now close to the sideline. It's taken by the Sharks. They should have got rid of it here. Boland. Now Sia Masuku, full length field, could be on the cards for a try. They're trying to run as fast as they can. Christy Rabala has plenty of pace, getting work towards the sideline. But Boland, their scramble defence is strong. Ball is still available for the Sharks. A penalty in their favour from here could win them the game. Matt Ramal, brilliantly done to not let that ball go. Now, Sia Masuku looked like he was going to go for a potential kick across field, but instead will be dragged down in the middle of the field. Boland getting the breakdown, can't get the steal again. Matt Ramal plays the half-back role here. And off to Gunyane. Boland told to get their hands out of it. Back now, John Smith. One more shoveled on to Haddon. Moves up to halfway. This is really tough for the Sharks to make any sort of real meters while Boland are defending the way that they are. Now another big run from, I think that was Klakane. Over the bench now, back into the pocket. Sia Masuku again thought about the cross kick. The pass is rough, but it goes into the hands of Christy Rabala, who gets driven about 2 meters backwards, well protected again by the Sharks, who are up to maybe about 7 phases in what has been a very hectic little period. I've moved back well and truly. They're now only 35 meters out from their line. Sia Masuku passes back across to Klakane. Still another 4 minutes remaining of that yellow card. The way this game is going, he might make his way back out onto the field. Sia Masuku short ball to Christy Rabala, who got absolutely hit. But there's an advantage now in favour, I mistimed that one, in favour of the Sharks. Klakane breaking through 2 players, still moving forward, the big Shark. Now, short side again, Salov the dummy from Van der Hever, and they'll go back for the penalty in favour of the Sharks here. We're up to 80 minutes. This game is not over, still 1 point separating them, but they are still inside of their own half here, the Sharks. Hatton trying to fire up his troops. We have got there, got to love the consistency in rugby. Says Big Rig and want to come back from Boland, 10 points behind to lead by 1. And the Sharks sound like a WWE name, or the Big Shark. Sounds like it. Fingers crossed from Lilia B. And who's the idiot that didn't kick it out? Godlin Masimla. He decided rather than kicking it out, he tried to go for a chip in behind and look for another try here for Boland. And I'm sure his teammates are not happy about it at the moment. That one's going to be put into touch. Still moments remaining in this contest. If the ball goes out, it will be full time. Like they are saying there, they will be extremely proud of how it sits. Now, ready for the line out. About to be thrown in for the Sharks. There are some deep press being taken at the moment. Gone to the back, taken by Haddon. Big rolling maul there for the Sharks. They've got the penalty advantage, so they have that to fall back on, but they will continue to try and get into an attacking position where they can create half a chance. Still rolling forward here, going short side. Yako Williams plays halfback. Sia Masuku passes on the outside. Bit of a juggle from John Smith. He throws it back inwards, and maybe it was close to forward. Boland on the ball. They're going to go right back for the penalty advantage. That was about 40 metres down the field. But now, where is it? It's about 38 metres out on the angle. Do they want to go for the 3 here to claim the win? Sia Masuku is about as consistent off the kicking tee as you can get. But now, what do? They're 84 minutes through. Whose ball it is currently in the ball or in the hands of the Sharks. And advantage still says Blues. Now, yeah, that was a pretty long advantage, to be fair. They've gone right back for it. The decision is being made. What is the call? Okay, getting taken just a little bit further back. I believe they've got the kicking tee on the field. This is the big moment. Sia Masuku. Can he manage a last minute thriller? The Boland side, they can't even watch. One of their players has got his jersey over his head. We're going to have that. It's a slight background. I feel like there is no better time to have it than for this one. Sia Masuku, this is what he'll be hearing on the inside. The heartbeat, the pressure. 30 seconds left. The last thing that he wants is to run out of time here when going for this kick. But now Boland, will they win? Or will the Sharks steal it in the jaws, pun intended, of defeat? The crowd are silent. Kicking this one, Masuku's got the distance. He's got the accuracy. And the Sharks win this game 33 points to 31. What a thriller. Masuku as cool, calm and collected as he always is. And Boland, what a game from them first of all. To be able to come back into this contest, the Sharks almost let that one slip through the fingertips, but 85 minutes through, and they will finish this game with the victory. Boland, you can see the frustration on the faces of the players. They know how close they were. All they needed to do was kick the ball into touch. It was almost like what we saw last year in the Currie Cup final, which gave the Sharks the win up against the Lions. Boland doing the same thing. Masuku is the hero of his side. All of the crowd have run in to give him the celebrations as well. And thanks for the great commentary and the results is Joss. And I was really there. Well, thanks. I got a good result. Go the Sharks, says Haldane. And yes, says Lilia B. And also I'm pacing, says Lilia there too. What a finish, says Ruth. Yeah, that is a hectic kind of contest. And I am thoroughly glad that we did pop over to cover this one on the channel as well. So, at the moment, England versus Samoa, it is sitting pretty one-sided at this point in time. We will not lie. It is heavily in favour of the English. 47-0 was the score at half-time, but this game, it was always close. Samoa actually got themselves an early 3 points in the second half too, I do see. And thank you, kind sir. It's much appreciated. Even if we lost, we appreciate you, says Haldane there. But yeah, the win for the Sharks in this scenario, they cannot get themselves into the semi-finals, but Boland will receive 2 points here. So that does mean that they are actually still making a little bit of a push towards the top of the table spot. They will be sitting in second, so not quite able to kind of bounce their way up into the number one spot. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. Hopefully you did enjoy the live stream. Later on today, I'm hoping to do the Ranfurly Shield in the afternoon between Waikato and they are going head-to-head with Southland. And then we've also got the Women's World Cup tomorrow night. New Zealand versus Japan alongside South Africa versus Italy. That South Africa-Italy game is a must-win for both of those teams. Whoever wins it goes through to the quarterfinals to more than likely face New Zealand. So it's not easy. But it will surely be entertaining. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. And we will see you all for the next one.